Ever get that feeling where you're like totally sure something happened one way,
Mm-hmm.
but then someone tells a completely different story
Oh, yeah.
and you start doubting yourself?
Like, wait a minute.
It's kind of unsettling, right?
Super
And
unsettling.
that's like the whole vibe of Fractured,
Oh, good
the
one.
movie we're diving into today.
Okay, cool. Like, the whole movie plays with your perception of reality.
Okay, so give me the basics here.
So we've got Ray. He's frantically searching for his wife and daughter.
Okay.
They disappear after a car accident.
Uh,
But here's the thing. Ray hit his head during the crash.
oh. Yeah.
Might be messing with his memories.
So, like, we don't know if what he's seeing is actually happening.
Exactly. The movie keeps you guessing the whole time.
Is he reliable?
Yeah.
Is he not? It's like the central question.
That's what makes it so gripping.
And this whole unreliable narrator thing,
It's a classic.
it's such a good tool for storytellers, right?
Think Shutter Island, Fight Club, keeps you on the edge of your seat.
For sure. Okay, so let's back up. What's the story here?
All right, so the movie starts with this family road trip.
Classic.
They're heading home after Thanksgiving. Ray, his wife Joanne, and their daughter Perry.
Okay, picture perfect family, right?
Seems like it, but there's already some tension brewing between Ray and Joanne.
Oh,
And then, bam, they stop at this abandoned construction site.
creepy.
Perry falls into a pit. Ray tries to save her.
Oh, no.
And that's when he hits his head. Things get hazy.
Okay, so that's the turning point.
Yeah, reality starts to fracture, literally.
Ooh, I like that.
They get to the hospital and things just get weirder.
What happens?
Ray's memory is all over the place.
Oh, no.
And the hospital staff, they're saying there's no record of his wife and daughter ever being admitted.
Wait, what? That's messed up.
Right. The movie plays with these little details.
It's like making you question everything.
Exactly. The missing records, the staff's stories not adding up, that blood-stained scarf they find at the construction site.
Okay, that's creepy.
It all points to something being off with Ray's perception.
You know, the first time I watched it, I thought it was just a straight-up missing persons case.
Right.
But then there's that scene where Ray's talking about the car accident,
Oh, yeah.
and you realize he's making up memories.
Whoa.
Turns out he's got this deep trauma from the death of his first wife, Abby.
That changes everything.
Right. Suddenly, it's not just an unreliable narrator. It's like he's projecting his past onto the present.
Bingo. The lines between reality and delusion get even blurrier.
It makes the audience almost complicit, like we're part of his breakdown.
Exactly. We're trying to piece together the truth right alongside him.
And failing miserably, it seems.
Well, that's the fun of it.
I guess so, if you like that kind of thing.
I mean, it keeps you hooked.
It does, I'll give you that.
So anyway, the tension keeps building, right? Until it reaches this crazy climax where Ray is convinced his family's being held captive.
In the hospital basement.
Yeah, like some kind of horror movie.
It is a horror movie in a way.
True.
So what happens? Does he find them?
Well, this is where the movie throws the biggest curveball.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat.
As Ray's trying to rescue his family, the audience gets hit with this horrifying realization.
Oh,
He's not saving anyone.
no way.
In his messed up mental state, Ray actually caused their deaths.
What?
The whole rescue, it was all a delusion.
So the whole time we're thinking it's a kidnapping thriller.
And bam, it turns into this tragic story about a broken mind.
Whoa, that's heavy.
It really makes you think about how easily our minds can trick us.
Especially when we're dealing with grief and trauma, right?
Absolutely. Fractured isn't just a clever thriller, it's a deep dive into the human psyche.
And how it can, like, completely unravel.
Exactly, sometimes with devastating consequences.
I mean, it's like we're trying to solve a puzzle, but the pieces don't fit.
Totally. And the movie keeps throwing in these red herrings.
Right, like, oh, maybe it's the hospital, maybe they're involved.
And then you're like, wait a minute.
It was him all along.
It's like watching a magic trick. You're trying to figure out the sleight of hand.
And then, bam, you're fooled again.
Exactly. And Fractured is a masterclass in misdirection.
It's really well done. Gotta give it that.
Once you know the ending, it's almost like you want to watch it again right away.
Oh, totally. See all the things you missed the first time?
Like all those little hints, foreshadowing, it's all there.
Okay, give me an example.
Like that creepy little girl Ray keeps seeing.
Oh, yeah, the one in the hospital.
At first you think, is it a ghost? What's going on?
Right. But then after the twist,
It takes on a whole new meaning.
it's like, oh, she represents his guilt or something.
Exactly. It's never explicitly explained.
Which makes it even creepier.
Yeah, like the movie wants you to fill in the blanks yourself.
And the sound design? Don't even get me started.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
So many jump scares. Like that car backfiring.
It's not just for cheap thrills, though.
You think it has a deeper meaning.
Totally. Those sounds, they're like mirroring Ray's anxiety.
Okay, so as he gets more paranoid,
The sounds get more chaotic.
so like we're actually experiencing his breakdown through the sound,
Exactly. The movie's really messing with our senses.
which is effective, I'll give him that.
Speaking of messing with our senses,
What about those flickering lights in the hospital?
oh yeah, good catch.
At first I thought it was just bad wiring, you know?
Right, like a budget thing.
Man, now I'm thinking it was intentional.
Definitely, those flickering lights, they're like a metaphor
For what?
for Ray's fragmented mental state.
Ooh, it's
Like his perception of reality is constantly shifting.
between light and darkness, sanity and madness.
Exactly. It's like the movie itself is gaslighting us, just like Ray is gaslighting himself.
It makes you question everything you see and hear.
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
Fractured isn't just a thriller, it's a commentary on the human condition.
Totally. It makes you think about, like, what is real? What are memories?
Deep stuff.
And how easily they can be distorted.
It's like the movie's asking, if we can't trust our own minds, then what can we trust?
Right. It's kind of scary when you think about it.
It is, but it's also a reminder to be critical, to question things.
Yeah, don't just accept everything at face value.
Especially these days with all the misinformation out there.
It's like Fractured is giving us a lesson in media literacy.
Totally. It's saying, hey, pay attention. Think for yourself.
Because you never know what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
It's amazing how they take this simple idea, right, a guy looking for his family,
Yeah.
and turn it into this whole exploration of, like, memory and trauma
It's really smart.
and what is reality. You know?
Exactly. That's what makes psychological thrillers so great.
They get under your skin.
They make you think.
So speaking of getting under your skin,
Yeah.
the ending, man.
Oh, it's brutal.
It's so bleak, right?
Yeah.
Ray's all alone, stuck in his own little world.
And he caused this whole tragedy. It's like,
I know. It makes you wonder, what happens to him now?
does he ever realize what he did?
Or is he just going to live in that delusion forever?
It's left open, right? The movie doesn't give us all the answers.
Which is frustrating, but also kind of brilliant.
Makes you think. Keeps the conversation going even after the credits roll.
It's not a happy ending, that's for sure.
And I think that's part of what makes it so powerful.
It's real, you know? Life doesn't always tie things up in a neat little bow.
Sometimes it's messy. There's no easy answers.
So if we zoom out for a second,
Oh, okay.
what's the takeaway here? What can we learn from all this fracturedness?
Well, I think it's a reminder that we're not always reliable narrators of our own lives.
Meaning,
We're all susceptible to biases, false memories.
our brains can play tricks on us.
Big time.
And it's not just about, like, remembering things wrong.
It's about how our perceptions can be shaped by our emotions or traumas.
So it's not just don't believe everything you see.
It's don't believe everything you think.
Whoa, that's deep.
It's like the movie saying, be critical, be aware.
Of your own mind.
Yeah. And be open to different perspectives.
Because what you think is true might not be the whole story.
And that's a good lesson for life in general, I think.
Especially in this day and age, with all the fake news and stuff.
You gotta be able to filter through the noise.
Fractured kind of gives you a toolkit for that, right?
Totally. It's like a crash course in critical thinking.
And a reminder to take care of your mental health.
Oh, for sure. Because when your mind starts to unravel...
It can have some serious consequences.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Fractured.
It was a wild ride.
It definitely kept us on our toes.
Hope you enjoyed it and maybe learned a thing or two along the way.
Always good to question things.
Until next time, stay fractured.